Okay. So, hello everybody. Good to see you. We had a 1 week break because we had a delegation to the UAE last week. Rav Ross and Rav Yosef were with us. And maybe after I do a brief opening, maybe Ross and Yosef, if you want to share for a few minutes about your experience. And then we'll hand over
Sure.
to Tom Magno, who's with us, who will tell us about the Abrahamic movement. And at around 9:30 my time, which is in about 25 minutes, we will have a few representatives from minorities in the Middle East, which is really interesting. That's not the kind of stuff you see every day. Like usually with Muslims, Christians, stuff like that. This time it's very, very interesting groups. And we'll have them for like 30 minutes, and then we'll have Fuad Khurshidi from the Iranian opposition, right?
Mhm.
At like 10 p.m. Israel time.
Yes.
And then we'll see how much time we have left for discussion and conversation. So I want to respect everybody who arrived on time. We still have a few more joining, as Rav Tyson. But maybe let's start, Rav Yosef and Rav Ross. Maybe let's take 2 or 3 minutes each. Tell us about your experience, your few key insights from our delegation to Abu Dhabi last week. I will send later more like we have a whole summary of the delegation and photos and all that. But I want people to hear from your in your own voice. So Ross, maybe you'll start.
Okay, sure. It was an incredibly moving experience. Uh, I, the the moment for me that expressed when I was there was this moment where I shared with a group a time that an evangelical told me he was waiting for us Israeli Jews to take down the Kippat HaSela, and why haven't we done it already and gotten rid of that shrine to a false religion? So I remember that moment. I was really disturbed. I didn't know what to say to him, but I came along with something. I said, listen, I'm not comfortable calling Islam a false religion. And he was kind of shocked. How could you say that? And I said, listen, I know Muslims who are really good people, and they tell me that they are good people because they draw on Islam. And if someone's drawing on Islam to be the good person, the good person that I know these people to be, I can't really call it a false religion. So what I shared at this moment with the delegation was it sort of moved from me from individuals to a society that seemed to have a different interpretation of Islam than the Muslim Brotherhood or the jihadists and all the problematic. And that was just a very powerful encounter to see so much emphasis on tolerance, so much of a distancing from the worst trends that we find in the Islamic world. And I'll just add one other piece. I felt along the line that maybe this is too good to be true. So this is kind of the post game review afterwards. Is I decided to look more into who the United Arab Emirates are, and I found that it was a little bit too good to be true. So there are wonderful, wonderful things going on there, and I think it was great that we created the ties with them. But afterwards, I also realized I need to be a little bit sober about it, and there are problematic pieces of that society as well.
Okay, thank you. Um, I see Eli is also with us. He was also in the conference. Um, Rav Yosef, do you want to take a couple minutes? You came all the way from Kenya to meet us. No, you're on mute. And God, you should know that in real life, Rav Yosef is really tall. Like you don't see it on Zoom, but he's like a big guy. He's a when you see him in person. Uh, yes, if you need to unmute. No, we still cannot hear you for some reason. Um, Maybe take a minute to try and figure this out, and we move on to Ellie. Ellie, are you with us?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like I thought, and I've had follow-up meetings yesterday with the embassy of the UAE here in Israel, and I think it was just really important that we were there, that there was a delegation, that the rabbis were present. I think it was they were very pleased that the delegation were there, and I think especially at this time. Yesterday they told me that they survived the 6-hour war. So that's the new phrase. We had the 6-day war, now it's the 6-hour war. So there's even a bit of humor from the Emiratis about what they're going through. I spent Shabbat in a place called Minyan on the Palm Jumeirah, a
Yeah.
beautiful community. You may know Ross Creel, who put it together. And they're going through a tough time. The Jewish community is going through a tough time. It's really below the radar, like pre-accords. So anyone planning to visit, I recommend spending a Shabbat trying to, be with the community as well as our interfaith work. It goes a long way. But the statement of being there was, I think, more important than, let's say, any of the content. But there's some real tachlis things coming out of it as well. So it was great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Just to put things in context, we had, I believe, the largest delegation of its kind, definitely since the war started, but maybe since the Accords. I mean, there were delegations. I'm not talking about tourists. I'm talking about delegations of rabbis, including the chief Qadi of Israel, who's not a rabbi, he's a Qadi, but still, it was very significant to have him. Well, like about 40 people, most Jews, but also Muslims. We had a small group of evangelical pastors who joined us last minute because they had no group to join. And I mean, two main points. One, Ali Rashid, Dr. Ali Rashid, who's the head of the National Security Committee, or whatever they call it, told us one key point that we should stop talking about the Abraham Accords just from a security standpoint, but also from a religious, spiritual, social, cultural standpoint, which I think is a good segue to the conversation we're going to have with Tom in a minute about the Abrahamic movement and how can we infuse the Accords with more than just security and economics. And also there was strong Israeli presence there, and we also heard it from several people that the fact we came, again, I think the content was also great and what we brought and what we talked about, but the mere presence of serious Israeli representatives was very significant at this time.
If I could just chime in, Rav Aaron, and just say
Yeah.
that it may not have been obvious to those of us who are present, but the rabbis who live in the UAE were not allowed to participate for security reasons. So the fact that you brought a delegation of rabbis was even more meaningful because the local rabbis couldn't be there. So, just to have a sense of the times we're living in.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, Rostov, can we hear you now? No, you're still mute. Maybe you should try and log off and log back in. Usually it solves most problems. But I do wanna. So when you join us back, we'll give you the floor for a few minutes. But I do wanna introduce our speaker for tonight. Okay, there's a lot more to say about the delegation, about the follow-up steps. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, our session is going to be an internal session for strategic planning, and we will be talking about that. So we'll have time to actually dig into where are we going, and the IRF summit and this summit and the next summit in October, and how do we put all pieces together and take what, as I always say, this program is not adult education. It's about actual practical diplomacy and how do we do that. So we're going to discuss this next week. Today, just a few key insights from the delegation. Yosef, let's try again. No, I don't know. We just can't hear you. I don't know why. Okay, maybe try and type to the group later, or we'll do it in the next part of the meeting. But I do want to introduce our speaker for tonight. No, we do mention the Abraham Accords. That's not what I said. I said he said we should not relate to them just as a security agreement. We should relate to them in a much broader sense, which lead us to our speaker for tonight, Tom Wagner, a very active activist on steroids in the field of interfaith diplomacy. I see Daniel smiling. Like those of us in Israel, you have to bump into Tom at some point into one of his podcast recordings activities. He has a very, very broad and interesting network of connections all over the Middle East, but also beyond. He wrote a few chapters in our research about the allies of the Jewish people, especially about minorities in the Middle East and the Noachites and those kind of things. And he's with us today to tell us about the Abrahamic movement, which he started, which is a movement supposed to counterweight the Muslim Brotherhood. Of course, there's a long way to go because the Muslim Brotherhood is a one century for us, but we need to start somewhere. So with us about that, we have about 15 minutes for that. Then we'll have a few representatives joining us from the Middle East, and then we decided to split them from the Iranian opposition, because the Iranians are not a minority; they are part of the majority in the Middle East, and also given the situation of war we're in, we want to give a special room for the Iranian opposition as a thing in of itself, and not mix it with all other things. So to give it its own attention. So without further ado, Tom, please, the floor is yours. Let's hear about yourself and about the Abrahamic movement.
Hi, everyone. So good evening, Rabbi Ro. It's a pleasure to see you again. The Abrahamic movement is based on the observation that there's a political vacuum in the Muslim world. I'm a political strategist. I was the CEO of a public relation company here in Israel for the past 25 years. I'm also an author, a lecturer, the Middle East interpreter of Israel Hayom. And I was always involved in regional dialogue for the past few decades. I was in charge of the coordination between the IDF and the Palestinian police in Jericho in my military service. And I was the spokesperson of the Peres Center for Peace in the years that Shimon Peres was alive, and it was the regional hub of cooperation between Israel and the Arab states that could work with us. And after October 7th, I reached to my network of politicians, leaders, imams, journalists from the Middle East, that obviously, since they're connected to me, are not ruling out Jews or Zionism. And I asked, okay, what's next? Because it became very obvious that the Middle East is not working for us. And there's a broader context to it from our Jewish perspective, because the region is unstable, even in places that we're not at, like Yemen or Iraq or Libya. And it started before us, and the same pattern of slaughtering the minority is also happening to the Druze and the Alawites and the Kurds and the Yazidis and many other nations in the region. So after we started having regional discussions, we started taking a look of the idea of shared Abrahamic identity as something that can bridge the gaps. Not in a way that will replace the existing identities, but rather in a way that can be similar to the idea of European identity that created an umbrella for all the European identities that basically stopped the wars between Europe, but didn't jeopardize any particular identity. The Catholic remain Catholic, the Protestants remain Protestants, the French continue to hate frogs, etc. We found out that while we're speaking about the Middle East and all the extensions of the Middle East, basically all over the world, because you will find Jew and Muslim communities almost everywhere today. The idea of the Abrahamic narrative is the best narrative to connect everyone, because whether you're a secular Jew, an Orthodox Jew, an atheist that came from Islam, or a devout Muslim, or an Alawite, or a Druze, secular or religious, a Christian from the Middle East, we all agree on the Abrahamic narrative. I mean, we don't necessarily agree on whether there's a God or not, which son was taken to be taken to Allah, to be a victim. There are disagreements, but we all agree on the idea that there's a forefather to this region, who is Abraham. And then we have Isaac and Ishmael and Yaakov and Moses and David and Solomon. And this story is consensual for the Middle East. You can look at it through religious perspective, but you can also look at it through a perspective of national or historical identity. And it's good enough, because that's a point of agreement. It's a point of agreement that basically says that we are all connected. We all agree on something. And by the way, this something also says that we are all family. So it's not an attempt to create a political solution. It's an attempt to create the terms to someday having a political solution, and today to have alliances, because many groups in the Muslim world, and when I say the Muslim world, I include the minorities in the Muslim world inside this definition, many groups can look at Israel as part of the solution and not a part of the problem, and can become allies if we will communicate with them correctly. I think that what we're seeing today under the headline of the Abrahamic movement, first of all, is that we were sucked into vacuum. Because again, in the geopolitical system of the Muslim world, you can find a very definitive, concrete, major, prominent political player, the Muslim Brotherhood, also, of course, from the Shia sides, the JIC, the Hezbollah. Basically, it's the same. It's radical Muslim movements that you can join to them wherever you are in the world. You can donate money to it. Doesn't matter where you are. You can go to the mosque of the Muslim Brotherhood, whether you're in Karachi, London, or Texas. And you can become a part of the system. You can go to their mosques. You can find your social group inside the mosques. Later on, they will tell you, come join us for the demonstrations. You will have an economical effect of this on your life. You will start buying your groceries in a shop that is affiliated to the Muslim Brotherhood and have their halal, etc. But on the other side, who's the other side? It's not that they don't exist, they do. We know them, we know many of them, people who are Muslim or Arab that are against the Muslim Brotherhood, but they don't have a name as a political camp. Who are they? Can we Google them? Can we find their website? No, it doesn't have a definition. And if it doesn't have a definition, it means I can't join it. And if I can't join it, so it will remain weak. The Abrahamic movement is stepping into this vacuum. when we speak in terms of the Arab/Muslim politics, it's very intuitive that the Abrahamic movement, Al-Haraka al-Ibrahimiyya, represents the other side of the Muslim Brotherhood, something that is for or the grassroots representation of the states and approaches that are part of the Abraham Accords. But if you will take a closer look at the challenges of this arena, you will notice that an Iraqi person, for example, or a Libyan politician, he cannot say, I'm a UAE man. It doesn't make sense. UAE is a different country. He has a different country. If you want to articulate the idea that he is for the UAE Islam, that he is for the Abraham Accords, he can't articulate it today unless he will say, okay, I'm a part of the Abrahamic movement. That makes sense whether you're in Pakistan, in Somaliland, Iraq, etc. And indeed, in the past few months, we opened branches in Pakistan, in Indonesia, in Syria, and Somaliland, and Sudan, and the Netherlands, where we're bringing together Jewish and Muslim populations, and Indonesia, Malaysia, Gaza, Nigeria, and more countries that are coming in every day, basically, because we're feeling a vacuum with a narrative. And I think that an important part of this narrative is the fact that I think it's a very new development, but that the Jews, or let's say very few Jews, have learned how to claim their claims according to the Quran, which is new. This is a revolution that, of course, the Jerusalem Interfaith Center in the
I see that Majid already joined, and we need maybe if you can take a couple minutes to explain about what actually exists right now, about the organizational structure, what do we have like on the ground? Because we have discussed the general ideas of Islamic Judaism quite a lot in the program, but I think that the practicality of what you're doing is very important for the group to hear about. And then in a couple of minutes I will start letting the panelists in.
Sure. Okay. So of course, there's not a network of mosques. We're just beginning this movement. The first time that we branded it under the Abrahamic movement was in January this year. It doesn't yet have funds. We're not actually on the ground with mosques and madrasas yet. This is the vision. We do have political and media activity, again, in most of the places that I mentioned, from a Facebook page of the Abrahamic Movement Iraq that is writing posts about the friendship that should have been between the Muslims of Iraq and the Jews, and why should Muslims recognize Israel. We have a very vast activity in Somaliland that created even a system of branches in cities and towns and even villages with people that have roles like vice president for interfaith dialogue of the Berber branch of the Abrahamic Movement Somaliland. In the Gaza branch, they have a plan to create Abrahamic schools in Gaza that will be mobile over the yellow line, so it will be under the IDF control, and they will teach. Of course, in Arabic, they will teach a bit Hebrew for the people to be able to communicate. And the Abrahamic interpretation of Quran that basically explains that Jews are not, it doesn't say the colonialists, but basically explained the Jews are part of this land, and this land was given by Allah to Banu Israel. I think that right now we're very limited because it's not yet a funded movement. We're just opening the 501(c) and the bank account in the United States next week. But we're already giving a good political fight. As an example, we met 3 weeks ago. We met the heads of the Abrahamic movement Syria, of the Syrian branch, with over 17 sheikhs and community leaders from the Syrian side. Rabbi Aaron was also there, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Rabbi War as well. And this meeting, which is, I would dare say, historical, this meeting was published in their social media pages and received thousands of likes and shares and comments. And I still get queries for it. Actually, Majid that will be joining us.
Should I let them in? Juliana and Majid are in the waiting room. Should I?
Yes.
Let me add them.
Let's hear from the people, of course.
Let's hear from the people themselves.
Okay.
And we also have
Abdallah.
Abdallah. Oh, Abdallah.
عبد الإله
No,
المعلق.
my
My friend, how are you guys? How are you, Mr. Tom? How's everybody?
Hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. Great to see
Nice
you.
to see you. I love your smile. I like to see everybody smile in the Middle East, Thank you. This is a nice opportunity to talk to you all the times, And last time my visit to the Western Wall over there, and thanks to Mr. Tom for helping me over there. But this is the action over there, Middle East was huge. This way, when we make something, not just in the WhatsApp, we need to make something practical. Make the things affect people a lot in Middle East, in Jordan, in Middle East, in Saudi, in Gulf country. I do 2 things this year. When I visit the Western Wall over there, it was huge as the first Muslim, and I put my hand in the Jewish religion wall. It was a huge reaction. And the other things, I did it in last week, in parade in New York, the first Muslim who support Israeli Day in New York, and was huge. And I have the video, I think, sent it to Mr. Tom. I wish Mr. Tom has sent it to everybody over there in Israel, and was huge. And they were, as a Jordanian, a Muslim, and they said very clear words to the people over there, to American people, and this is huge 2 things. Very important for us. If you want to make something, action and reaction to the people, and me, my tribe in Jordan, they call Bani Hassan, all of them watch me. All of them, they see my video in New York. I support you. I support you as brother, as we are partner in the past and in the present and in the future. This is what I need from Abraham movement, to make something real. We need to, even when I talk to you, I like to people see what we talk about this one. I like to visit you, visit me. Even there is delegation coming from led by Mr. Dr. Ayub, he was minister in Netanyahu government. Akara Ayub. I visit him here. I respect him here. I invite him for dinner. I enjoy him with all the things in New York, And
but Abdallah, we actually met you without a kafia. I didn't identify you, but all of us who've been to the IRF, Adina, Yehuda, Alex, we met Abdallah at the IRF summit in February.
Yeah.
We met you there.
Yeah, yes. And this is what we need. We need something always. If you want to make anything successful, we need also Middle East. The cornerstone in the Middle East to make something to need to have leaders talk up and they're not scared.
Right.
Me, God help me to with a strong personality. I'm not scared from anyone. A lot of people they threat me. I don't care, but because I see the truth, and this is why Middle East they need new leader. Also new leader, very important.
Right.
So one day, inshallah, make Abraham movement in Jordan, and from my tribe, Bani Hassan, and we will go from there.
Amen.
Wow.
So allow me to introduce you a bit. Sheikh El Mala is one of the leaders of the Bani Hassan Bedouin tribe from Jordan. It's called the Million Tribe because of they're one of the biggest tribes over there. And he's a prominent Jordanian politician that was always pro peace, one of the first people that joined me in creating the Abrahamic movement. And he was here in Israel in November, if not mistaken. And
Yes.
he told me he had a short opening in his timetable, and he told me, Tom, take me to Jerusalem, to the Western Wall, find me a rabbi that I will do a video with him. And I couldn't go, but I found a volunteer to take him and coordinated with a rabbi over there. And I made sure that everything is videotaped. And this video of Sheikh El Mala and the rabbi holding hand together at the Western Wall and speaking about the Abrahamic peace and what connects us got millions of views in the Muslim world.
Even Al Jazeera bring this one up.
Even
Al
Al Jazeera.
Arabiya in Jordan, everybody news in Jordan. Shake the regime, the whole regime, Hashemite family, they shocked, and really shocked and unbelievable. And they try Jordanian intelligence, government, King Abdullah intelligence. They go to my tribe, they go to my family. Please sign any like to condemn this is act from Abdul Ilah Lablab, but they not listen. Just like they try everything.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I
So
was a
let's
witness.
also introduce maybe Juliana and Majid, so we know who
Yes,
is
of course,
also
of
new.
course. So, of course. So, first of all, my friend Juliana Taimurazi, I hope you're here. I think you're here with us.
I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's it.
So, yes, yeah, of course you are. So, Juliana is the leader of the Here I Am NGO from the United States. Maybe I said it wrong, but you will correct me. Hineni, basically, that's her necklace as well. She's, first of all, she's a Nobel Prize nominee, so she should be respected for it. And she's standing in the head of the of the Christian Iraqi Relief Fund, and is an Assyrian leader that is leading the Assyrian people, Ashurim. Not everyone are aware of it, that the Assyrians are still a part of the Middle East, and there are over 2 million Assyrians that are coming. Their homeland is Nineveh in northern Iraq. They are Christians. They are part of the minorities in the Middle East that are facing extinction. Juliana is the best advocate for the Assyrian cause, and she's visiting Israel on very, very often. And is very connected to the Jewish people in Israel. Juliana, maybe you can, sorry, there's an interruptance, but Juliana, maybe you can say a few words about yourself, about the Assyrians for Jews who are not updated, and about what we're trying to build together in the Abrahamic movement.
Of course. It's an honor to be with you, my dear friend Tom. Thank you for inviting me. Sheikh, I have a question for you after, so don't let me forget. I have a very important question to ask you later. But I'm an Assyrian. I was born in Iran. I was baptized as a child into Christianity. I fled Iran in 1989 due to religious harassment and came to the States 36 years ago. I founded Iraqi Christian Relief Council in 2007 due to the invasion of Iraq. Al-Qaeda founded safe haven in Iraq. And really, we were 1.5 million Assyrians in Iraq, but we became devastated. And due to our churches being bombed, clergy being mutilated, our women raped, our men kidnapped, and on and on. So I noticed that there was not much information out in America about the Assyrian culture, heritage, and our persecution. So I started the organization in 2007. Now we call it Here I Am, a charitable foundation. Um, it is still a continuation of the original, of the parent organization, but the reason we called it Here I Am is because I have been involved with the Jewish community for decades and formally since 2012. With the attack on the Jewish community in Pennsylvania in 2018, I decided to start an initiative called Assyrians Against Anti-Semitism Initiative. And we stand with you. We issue statements, condemnation statements. We meet with different organizations to show the solidarity of the Assyrian people with the Jewish people. So this way, Here I Am encompasses also this fight against anti-Semitism. We have never only been about the Assyrians, and this expands like Abraham invited everyone to his tent. We have a tent as well, inviting others into this tent. The Assyrian people, Ashurim, as Tom said, our history is 6,776 years this year. Our ancestral homeland is northern Iraq, southern Turkey, northwestern Iran, northeast Syria. We have lived there for thousands of years. Our language is Aramaic, a new version of Aramaic, or new, 2,000 years, 2,600 years old. We mix Akkadian, the ancient language of Akkadian, with Aramaic. So it's called modern Aramaic. We're about 2.5 million across the world. We, much like the Jewish people, are an exilic nation. Majority of us are in exile. With our eyes to Nineveh, much like the Jews, their eyes are on Jerusalem, our eyes are on Nineveh. A lot of advocates have tried over the years. Over 100 years, my great uncle is known as the Theodor Herzl of the Assyrians. We have tried working with the Brits, with the Russians, with the French to seek assistance to return back to the homeland, but it has not happened. However, Isaiah, for those of you who can refer to the Torah, to the Tanakh, if you can go to Isaiah 19:23-25, this is the only verse that God promises that Assyrians and Jews and the Egyptians will come together on the highway to worship the Lord. And we hold on to that. And my passion for the Jewish people is cultural. Your faith is beautiful. I study the Torah once a week with my professor. I'm studying Hebrew thought. And my dissertation, I'm currently towards the tail end of my PhD program. My dissertation is a comparative study between the maternal memory of the Jews in Baghdadi Jews in Iraq after the Farhud, and Assyrians who were massacred in Samel 8 years prior to the Farhud in northern Iraq. It's an honor for me to be here. I've been raised with the Muslims. I lived in Iran for 16 years. We have very many beautiful Muslim friends, and really what Tom and his colleagues and our colleagues are doing is incredibly important, incredibly necessary, especially in the West where we're fighting, we're fighting anti-Semitism. So the bond between the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims is crucial. And I think Tom's organization, our Abrahamic movement, plays a vital role, not just in the Middle East, including Israel, but in the West as well. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, dear. Allow me to guide you with a few quick questions. First of all, how do Assyrians call Jews?
قريبا قربة in our language means closeness. So we call you the closest to us. So for example, at the time of baptism, the man who holds the child is qariba. He's the godfather. At the time of the wedding,
Sandak, the godfather, yes.
yes, the godfather. At the time of the wedding, the best man is qariba. So that is a very that is the closest relationship that anyone can have with another individual. Also, the Jews, the Mizrahi Jews in Iran and Iraq, they call us Nashdidan. We call them Nashididan, which means our own people. So historically, we have shared the same fate. We have shared linguistically. We have our languages rooted in Aramaic. A lot of the Jews in Iran and Iraq, they went to each other's events, mournings, and weddings. And in fact, in 2018, I took an American Jewish rabbi and a colleague of mine, another Jewish man, to Iraq with their American passports in northern Iraq. Prior to that trip, I had found a deserted synagogue. So when I took these two Jewish brothers to Iraq, I took them to the north to this abandoned synagogue, and the people of the village who are Assyrians came to observe Shabbat quietly, carefully. And one of the community members, Assyrian, came to me, held my hand, and he wept. He said, I haven't heard this language in so long. I haven't seen Jewish people here in so many decades. Thank you for bringing them back to me, to us. So I think there's absolutely something beautiful, an unshakable bond between Mizrahi Jews and Assyrians, that it needs to be strengthened. In fact, in Israel, we have about 50,000 Assyrian Jews who are also calling themselves Kurdish Jews that came from Assyria, from the northern Iraq, who speak Aramaic. And a friend of mine whose name is Yaakov Maoz from Jerusalem has started this movement called Lishani, Lishan Didan, our language, that really goes around and talks to the Iraqi Jews that came from northern Iraq that are still alive and starts a bond with them, you know? So I would really encourage you to go to YouTube and put his name, Yaakov Maoz, and Lishani, Lishani, I think that's how he spells it. But he has a really worthwhile project that he really started something groundbreaking inside Israel, which is very important.
Okay, so I want to continue to much, but before it, I'd like to ask you, I'm sorry, I always give you these pop quizzes, but can you quote the Syrian calendar, please?
Oh, the Assyrian calendar.
Yes.
Yes. So we have Nisan, Adar, Gziran, Av, Tammuz, Av. We have Kanun Tramaya, Kanun Trayana, Tishrin Qamaya, Tishrin Trayana, which you have Tishrin, right? Yes. So our months are very similar. In our alphabet, we say Elabid, Gemel, Dalad, Hi, Vav, Zen, Khatat. So as it is in Hebrew, Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Dalet, yes? So yeah, we share many elements, including linguistic cultures.
Definitely. Thank you so much, dear. And I would also like to point that you are one of the board members of the Abrahamic Movement USA that is registering this month as a 501(c)(3), and thank you for agreeing to serve in this very crucial mission. Majd Jibile, Mr. Majd Jibile is the Alawite envoy, or sorry to say, he's the special envoy of the Abrahamic movement for the Alawite community. Maybe you would like to present yourself and to say how come the Alawite community is so interested in the Abrahamic movement and what we're doing together.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. Just first, all Alawites around the world are Assyrians. Now, Juliana is speaking. I'm understanding, like Tammuz, Ab, Aylul, Tishrin. This is my language, my own language. So this is good to hear. We should know each other also with Assyrians in Iraq, Iran, and all over the world. Actually, one way or another, all of us are cousins. And speaking about minorities in the Middle East, actually, let's say like our problems lies in the individual survival of each group. Divide and conquer is our enemy strategy. We must always be united front, or we have no presence in the Middle East within maybe a few decades. I think with Abrahamic movement, we are opening the door for new future for minorities in the Middle East, and it will be a huge step to first know each other as a societies, then think about futures together, because each one of us have his own story, but together also we have one story we can tell. If we think in a way, we can like be much more stronger in one front, or united front. Not I'm talking about even minorities, even majority of moderate Sunnis with us around the Middle East. So as a Syrian now, I'm talking who's suffering from Al Jolani today. Uh, he's dealing with each of us like a single case. But if all minorities in Syria, for example, united in a single front, we can form a front representative maybe 45% from the Syrian people. If we add the moderate Sunnis, we are talking about 65 or 70% from the society. So we are the majority, but we should be united. This is a true fact in the Middle East, because we don't contact each other in a good way. They say we are minorities, but we are the origin people in the area, and we should open the door for the future to know each other more. And just I think today, Mr. Tom, the Abrahamic movement now is really famous in Syria. Now we are talking about big things in Syria. We are not talking about like social media movement at all. We are talking about thousands of Syrians talking about it in their homes, in the society, and universities. We are talking something big. We have a very big opportunity today. We should use it. We should have. We should be on the land, not just social media. Like already now, big ideas is on the way, and we have a good chance. We must succeed. We have no. For me, I have no choice for losing this, because really it's our hope, especially as a Syrian. This is my only hope today, because otherwise jihadists will take over our land, and this is forbidden.
Majid, please say a few words, first of all, about the relationship between the Alawite religion that I think most of our friends don't know anything
Sure,
about, and
sure. I think
Judaism, Israel, peace, and also say a few words about how the leadership of the Alawite community sees this development of the Abrahamic movement.
so. First of all, I think nobody in the Middle East know us. The thing all Middle East know about us, like we are a part of the Shia. and this is very wrong. Uh, as now I'm talking to Juliana, we are Assyrians. We are older than all Muslims in the Middle East, maybe 6 or 7 thousand years ago. So we are people of Ugarit. I think the Jewish people know Ugarit well. We are Phoenicians, old Greek. Even our villages' names in the Syrian coast are Assyrian names, Canaanic names, Aramic names, and a lot of Aramic language we understand, but we cannot talk. If you understand me, I understand what she's talking, but I cannot replace because now we are speaking Arabic. And religiously, if I'm talking about our religious, it's kind of Abrahamic actually. This is the right definition. We like someone like Yusha bin Nun or Asaf bin Barkhia or Ali bin Abi Talib. For us, the same person, the same soul. So this is not existing in Islam as a religion, but for us, it's our religion. This is our story. We are talking about philosophy, like kind of Greek philosophy. For us, Aflaton and Aristo are kind of imam for us, and not just philosophy. We are talking about very old religion in the region, but each time from Abraham time, after that Moses, after that Jesus, after that Muhammad, we continue with them. We don't stop. Last time the name give it to us Alawite because Ali bin Abi Talib. So this is the last, not prophet, the last imam for us, and we believe in everyone in the Abrahamic and even before. Sam bin Noah, Noah itself, even before until sons of Adam, Kabil and Habil. So this is even Habil have the grave of Habil is in near Ogaret in Latakia. So we are talking about the first human being in all the world, living in the eastern Middle East, eastern coast of the Mediterranean. This is my people, my story, and now we are trying to search about someone ready to open the door for us because we lived last 100 years as secret religion, like nobody welcome us, and we are trying to hide behind Muslims because we have no identify like as an Alawite. Myself, all my life, I don't say I'm an Alawite. I'm living in Dubai. Anyone ask me, I'm Syrian. I don't say I'm Alawite because this is kind of a shame, or we don't have idea about our religion for this. Now we are trying to build this, and I'm talking now after we know Mr. Tom and the Alawite leader. We are talking about businessmen, religious leaders, uh, journalists, all Alawite community now very interesting in Abrahamic movement. They want to join. They want to know more. They want informations. Uh, it's big step for us because now we are talking about ourselves for the first time in many maybe 400 years or like from Ottoman times. We cannot speak about our identify. So now this is big opportunity for us, and we are trying to build something big. And I think we found a very special man, Mr. Tom, and we appreciate this opportunity, and we need to know more and more every day.
Thank you, my friend. We have a very few minutes before Pastor Ford Khurshidi will join us. So maybe a question.
Does
Can I
everyone
ask
ask something?
Sheikh? Can I ask a real quick question from the Sheikh? Sheikh, do you know an American general, Patrick Ray? that reached out to you. Is the Sheikh, can you hear me, Your Excellency?
I'm not sure. I will connect you
You
afterwards.
can connect them
Okay.
later, right, Tom? You can connect them.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Now, Majid, we met you at the conference last week. I remember you.
Right,
Yeah.
I was with Rabbi Oz.
Right, Rabbi Oz, and yeah, a few of us got to meet you.
Yeah.
I mean, I always have my questions, but I want to open up for the group. If anyone wants to ask her something.
I guess I have a quick question, whether you've encountered resistance to the term Abrahamic. For example, I was in a group called the Abrahamic Business Circle, and the organizers were told by the Saudis to change the name because Abrahamic was offending some people, and even the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi came under a lot of pressure to change the name. So I'm wondering how you're navigating the brand.
Is this for me or for?
Whoever would like to take it.
Okay, so I would say the following. First of all, yes, it exists not only from Saudis, also from Egyptians. There's some pushback because the term Abrahamic becomes identified with the Abraham Accords. First of all, okay, that's a lot better than fighting physically. If we're arguing about names, etc., that's a good step ahead. But you see, there's a problem over here, and I think that this problem is positive because basically, from a Muslim perspective, not speaking as a Muslim, but speaking as someone who learned the Muslim perspective, if you go against Abraham, who is a part of the Quran, that's sort of shirk, basically. You take the book and you resist to parts of the book. The Muslims shouldn't resist Abraham. So, okay, Saudis have their beef with the Emiratis and they're trying to counter against the Abrahamic narrative because they want to keep the Emiratis isolated. That's a political thing. When I asked the professor from Al Azhar who was telling me, oh, but there are many people in Egypt that are attacking me when I say Abrahamic, etc. So I asked him, would you agree that Muslims can say that Abraham is bad? And he said, no, I cannot agree. So I told him, so isn't it now your job to educate your people better? And he said, maybe. So that's the best answer I have.
Can I answer in a few words? Just because I have the same issue. Saudis and it's a Muslim Brotherhood propaganda. To be honest,
Yes.
they are talking about Abrahamic religion, not movement, not but as a political organization. They are talking about this is new religion. So just simple answer like. Who told them like Christians or Jews are ready to give their religion and become for the like Abrahamic and not Jews, for example? It's ridiculous how they think about it, and this is it's pure propaganda from Muslim Brotherhood, especially started between Saudis and Emiratis, and after that spread in the Middle East, and now it's like fighting between Saudis and Emiratis. It's like daily on social media, like you are bringing a new religion, and it's like conspiracy on Islam. Like they are stupid to think it's anyone ready to give his religion and become another religion just to make conspiracy on Islam. It's crazy to think about it.
Yes, but the fact that we're getting pushback from the Muslim Brotherhood side is a good sign. It means that
They are afraid daily.
Yes, we bring something to the table. Pastor Fort Khurshidi, thank you for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you. Before I address you, I want to sum up this part of the meeting with the minorities panel. Majd, first of all, thank you very much. And Juliana, if you have closing words to say, I'm not sure.
Before the closing word, Juliana, I just want to give you the context of the group, which we haven't given you very briefly. This is a group of rabbis from all over the world. Most of them are Americans, but also Europeans, Israelis, Kenya. We have another rabbi from South Africa who's not here right now, but it's a group of about 20 rabbis who go through a year-long program of training on interfaith diplomacy. So we're not here just to learn in general and know that now we know that there's something called Assyrians and their names on the month. That's great. The actual goal is to have practical interfaith diplomacy, to see how can we engage with organizations and do something practical. So you're based in the US, there are US rabbis here, maybe we can make this connection. Majid, you're based in Dubai, we have people in Dubai and the Emirates. Let's see how we can make those connections practical. And I think what Tom just mentioned, the Muslim Brotherhood, or let's say the Red Green Alliance at large, which is the Muslim Brotherhood and the Shiite regime of Iran and radical neo-Marxism, all that combined is a threat to us, the Jews and Israelis all over the world. It's a threat to you all over the world. It's a threat to, I think, to humanity in general, but at least to the groups that we represent, it's a common threat. And plus we also have a common, let's say, positive vision and history. So when you address the group in your last words, try to keep this in mind. These are the people you're talking to who are actual rabbis and leaders who might be able to do something together.
Juliana?
I think we're at a juncture in our history that we need each other. People of common sense, people who love humanity, we should come together. And to me, the Assyrian people, unfortunately, have suffered tremendously for 2,000 years, for 1,600 years. We've been decimated in the Middle East, in our homelands. And the change in the rural, and this message is for my Muslim brothers who are here. The change will not come from the Jews and from the Christians. The change will have to come from within your mosques. When you go to the rural areas and when you talk about brotherhood and when you talk about the bond that we must have, first of all, as humans, two, as children of God, three, as children of Abraham. I think that this is a great opportunity. This is a groundbreaking move that we're making in bringing a sort of creating a brand new brotherhood. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be extremely difficult. Muslim Brotherhood is extremely powerful. It has penetrated in the United States, our school systems, our hospital boards, our government, anywhere you look, our education systems. So we have to remain prayerfully and steadfast with our eye on the vision. But I think this will bring much healing that my community needs because we've been massacred in the hands of Islamists. And at the same time, there were many Muslims who saved us. So I look to the good people of the world to bring that healing to the Jewish people, to the Christian people, and vice versa, for all of us to be together in this. So thank you for the opportunities to say these words.
Can I add something, Mr. Tom?
Yes.
Okay,
Sure.
my things, if you want to be Abrahamic movement successful, make a good establishment in Middle East, we need to solve the issue of things like Middle East, like New Jordan. Two people recognize Israel, the border from the river of Jordan to the sea. We need, because there is majority silent in Jordan and other country like Syria, Lebanon, other country, which is they scare from their government and scare from everybody. And this is why people They love Middle East. They love Trump. Okay, do it, Mr. Trump. People, they need actions. They need true leaders. This way this is what, if you want to make something, you have to say it clearly, not behind the scene, not behind just in WhatsApp. We have to make something real. The real things, New Jordan solved the whole problem. When you solve the issue of Palestinian issue, which is make the Middle East and the Islamic country, like from Indonesia to Pakistan, make the things everybody, even Mohammed bin Salman, set up. Everybody, they can do it. I mean, but when we change the things in Jordan, inside Jordan, to make new Jordan is, I'm Bedouin, I'm a real Eastern Jordanian, but we have 6 million people, more than that, live in Jordan who is Palestinian. We are a family, a social family. We have to make our system, if you want to help us, make this successful. When we make new Jordan, we solve 99 the problem in Middle East, because everybody is scared to reach this issue. Everybody's scared. Saudi, Gulf country, Emirat, all the country. But the cornerstone to solve the Middle East, Jordan, new Jordan. If we make this one successful with this administration, with the Trump, with the Netanyahu, with everybody, that means Abrahamic movement will be successful, will be reach the big point. This is the only, but I know, Jordan, everybody, they call me, I send message with them every day. There is a lot of silent people. They said, okay. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, because I have somebody calling. Okay. So this is the way. We need to make this one real. We need to say it clearly to the people. This is why when people see me in New York, in the Israeli parade, when they see me in the Western Wall, people in Middle East, especially in Jordan, they see this is the truth. Because we face enemy. With the enemy from where? Coming from the Arab government. They speak two languages. They speak like two language. They always like to unsolve the Palestinian issue. We need to solve it. We need to see the real. Here, the border. This is the holy land for Jewish people, from the Jordan River to the sea. This is what we need, leader. This is why I see it. I see it in the Western Wall. I see it in New York. I see it everywhere. I'm here, been 36 years. I'm fighting about this one. The only one, the only solution. And then other problems, with other countries like Gulf country, they don't have problem with Israeli. Other country like even Morocco or Egyptian but in Jordan, we have to solve here the cornerstone. This is why we need to work together about this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my friend. My friends, now we are about to speak with Pastor Khorshidi. You can, if you want to learn a bit more about the situation of the Iranian opposition, you can stay with us, but otherwise feel free to leave. Thank you for joining us this evening. Pastor Khorshidi, I hope that you can hear me.
Yeah, hello everybody, and thanks a lot, dear Tom, for inviting me to this very important meeting. I'm very sorry. I was on way to Gothenburg. I was in Stockholm, and now on way back to Gothenburg. So now I'm here with you. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you. So I'll introduce you shortly. You are a Kurdish, Iranian, Swedish Christian pastor, journalist, and jurist, and also one of the founders of the Abrahamic movement and of the Cyrus Fund. Pastor, I think that many Israelis don't have a lot of information about the connections between the Iranian opposition and Israel, both in terms of the old narratives that connect us through Cyrus, and also in terms of the things that we're doing together today. Actually, next week, I will be seeing you in the United States, where we will be presenting Project Aftab, together Israeli and Iranian presenters for the Iranian community in the United States. Please tell the rabbis about it from your perspective.
Yeah, sure. Let me say so that as a Kurdish guy that was born as a Muslim, I was Muslim 25 years and then became Christian and now studying Jewish theology. I have a bond to both Kurdish people, Iranian, Christian community, Jewish community, and Muslims community also. So the thing that we are doing here is very, very important. But concerning the people of Iran and this situation in Iran, it's very good to know the narrative of Iranian people. Islamic Republic regime tried to force people 47 years that every morning say death to America, say death to the Israel. But it's not the will of the majority of Iranian people. So it's important to know that how Iranian people see the situation and Israeli people when they look to their history. So we believe that everything that is going on right now between Iran and Israel is a repeating of the history, the book of Esther. So the same event that happened in a time of Esther and Haman the Agagite was an enemy of the people of Jewish people inside Iran. I cannot say that he was an enemy of foreign people. He was an enemy of a community inside Iran. So in the same way, we believe that this regime is Haman Agagite's regime that is against the Jewish people, Christian people, and Iranian people. Once I told dear Tom that Haman the Agagite was against Iranian queen also. Esther was not just foreign person inside Iran. She was a queen of Iran. So she was an Iranian queen, but Jewish queen inside Iran. So right now, the history is repeating itself at the same way. Iranian people is the best friend of Israeli people, best strategic friendship between them. At the same time, they are waiting to receive help from Israeli people. Why? Because they believing in the events of the Cyrus the Great when he freed the Jewish people, helping them returning to Israel. We call Cyrus the Great first Zionist or first pro-Zionist person in history, helping Jewish people to returning to Jerusalem and rebuilding the temple or rebuilding the Jerusalem. So right now, the people of Iran are waiting to receiving this help. Something has started then month 2 3 months ago. So we in the Cyrus Fund together with Tom and other guys, we are trying to build a connection between two nations and together bring people of Iran and helping them to rebuild the beautiful country of Iran. And we believe that the person that can help us in between these two nations is the person, the Cyrus the Great. One of the guys spoke about the leadership in Middle East. We believe that we need the leaders like Cyrus again in the Middle East. Beside Abraham, I'm sure that the Cyrus the Great is more distinguished people and honorable people for most people, not only in Middle East, but also in whole the earth. So it's important that we take a look to his leadership, in which way the Cyrus the Great was a king. Actually, when he conquered the many nations, no any bloodshedding. They led them to worship their God in a way that they wanted. They respected their cultures. He respected their cultures. He respected their languages. So it is very important to have a leaders like the Cyrus the Great right now in our time. So we are hoping that actually make a platform in the Cyrus Fund and preparing the leaders inside Iran, outside Iran, and in a Kurdish community, Turkish community, Farsi language community, leaders like the Cyrus, and just speaking about this narrative that we can together change the face of the Middle East together. That this Islamic regime is not represent of people of Iran, and the only country that can help people of Iran right now is Israel to change the Islamic Republic regime. So it's our perspective about the Cyrus the Great and those projects that we have started in the Cyrus Fund together with Israeli elites and Iranian elites in diaspora. Many very good connection with the people inside Iran. Many efforts, but not enough yet. We need more help to lift up this narrative and this bound with our history, so that we can borrow again from our history good things to make a real sustainable peace in whole the Middle East. So if you have any question, I'm very glad to answer your questions.
Thank you, Pastor. Any questions?
I would like to start with a question. First of all, good to see you again, Fuad. We met a few times. We also did videos together. Unfortunately, we meet when there's clashes between our armies. I mean, not our armies, our army and the regime army. But we should meet also in peaceful times. My question, it may be uncomfortable, but I'm not asking this to tease anyone. I'm asking to understand as an Israeli. So we had like in January, February, there was a wave of protests and like uprising inside Iran by students and all kind. It seems like it's going big, and then we know that there was a horrific oppression and let's say
Massacre.
response from the regime. We know about, I don't know, 45,000 people killed. And then there was all the famous help is on the way from Trump and Lindsey Graham and from the US. And apparently help did come. It took time, but it did come. Like, a massive attack by Israel and the US, unprecedented in its size and scope and power on the regime. And still we don't see the people uprising again. We don't see, like, is that because people are despaired, because they're waiting for the right time, because they're shocked by what the regime has done to them last time? Is there any hope of taking down this regime from the inside?
The thing is, they did their part, and what was the result? More than 40,000 people being killed. And when Mr. President Trump said that the help is on way, it became very political game. Meanwhile, that the war started to helping people, hopefully, but it was not just helping people from American side. Actually, it became very political game, Hormuz Strait, and just negotiation to receiving some, all this stuff. But I think the people of Iran did their best. But on the other side, they are facing a regime that they don't care for life of people. They just kill the people because their theology is like that. You have make a cows, just after these cows, Mahdi will come. So I'm sorry to say that, but this is a Shiites theology. So in this theology, the people inside Iran cannot face this brutal regime with empty hands. So we wish that this attack continued, not stopped after 40 days. I promise you, if it continued, so after a while, we could have an expectation that something happened. But right now, this gap between the 40 days war and this negotiation, and people of Iran actually are going to lose their trust to Mr. Trump's words. Because one day he say that, okay, we want to attack them. Another day, 1 hour later, say we are reaching the peace treaty and something like that. So I'm afraid to say that the people of Iran's hoping on only Israel right now.
Just want to mention also for the group, you mentioned that part of the Shiite, let's call it logic model or theory of change, is that chaos will lead to redemption. And that's complete overlap with neo-Marxist theories that actually call for creating chaos and havoc in society, and then somehow we'll break the system and have equality. So those two, that's actually the Red-Green Alliance, how those two things actually combine. And that's very interesting. But okay, let's open up for more questions and comments.
May I add something to what Pastor Khorshidi said? Pastor, as your fellow Iranian, who's connected to the people on the ground with family there, the Islamic Republic is playing psychological. There's a psychological warfare going on the ground in Iran, where in the middle of the night, they have this parade of cars singing very revolutionary songs and threatening people in neighborhoods, waking people up at 2, 3 in the morning. Also, they had imported Afghan fighters and Iraqi fighters and ISIS fighters into Iran, where mercilessly they were killing people. So I completely agree with what Pastor Khorshidi is saying, that the Iranians' trust, even in diaspora, is diminishing to, and I say that as a Trump supporter. We're looking at his decision making, that there's something happening, that he didn't finish the job. He's not finishing the job, and also the cost of living is just exorbitant. So there's a human factor here that is absolutely, people are feeling dehumanized, and there's the political aspect that the world is engaged with. And I say these words just to shed a little bit of light on the actual human life and the suffering on the ground.
Thank you. Let's open for, we have time for like 1 or 2 more questions, I think. So maybe Fuad, if you can tell us a bit more about the internal, let's say, distinctions within the opposition. So if we want to work with the Iranian opposition, what should we be aware of? Like what kinds of subgroups, substreams? Like how does it? I mean, it's not like one monolithic organization. It's more complex. So how should we navigate that?
If I understand your question right, you asked about the distinguish between the group of opposition
Inside opposition, like,
Different
because
opposition groups.
my
inside
concern,
Iran or outside Iran.
no, outside. Because the group you're talking to right now, these are rabbis from all over the world, especially from the US, who want to engage actually in this kind of interfaith, or diplomacy, or working with other nations, civil society. But we also want, the first rule, like in everything, is do no harm. Like we want to make sure that we're not creating damage, that we work with the right people and not with the wrong people, that we don't mix different parts of the opposition that don't mix, and we need to work with them separately. If you can give us just the basic tips. We don't have time to dive into all of that, but the basic understanding.
Yeah, before our meeting, I was another meeting while I was driving home. I am honored to be a part of a leading group in London trying to make a coalition and alliance between all the opposition groups that support Prince Reza Pahlavi, because we believe, the most of Iranian believe, that the only alternative right now for helping the people of Iran is Prince Reza Pahlavi. And we actually in last month is many other groups like Republican also actually showed their support to Prince Reza Pahlavi, while at the beginning of their fight against the Islamic regime, they were not the supporter of Prince Reza Pahlavi, but many of those other opposition groups also has coming to understanding that the only alternative is Prince Reza Pahlavi, that the people of Iran gather around him, unify and united actually beside him to go to pass through this situation and or through the Islamic Republic regime. And so I urge you that if you can, where you are, help to be a voice of the real people, the real opposition group of Iranian people. But our fight is not just with the Islamic Republic regime. There are groups of Marxist, leftist that they try to destroy the position and the face of and the fight of Prince Reza Pahlavi, because they are against him. They were against people of Iran. They helped the Islamic Republic regime to take power. 47 years ago, it was the leftist group that helped Islamic movement, Shia movement, just because of those points that you mentioned, because they had something in common, making chaotic situation and speaking about justice, equality, or something like that. And they have something in common. They help each other. They help Islamic Republic regime and Islamic Brotherhood. So right now they are again against the people of Iran and against Prince Reza Pahlavi. But at the end of the day, the only alternative is Prince Reza Pahlavi, and we try our best. And I argue that helping us in these fights, because if he come back to Iran, it will be good for every Iran's neighbor country. It will be great for Iraq. It will be great for Syria. It will be great for Lebanon. And above all of those countries, it will be super great for Israel also.
Definitely.
So maybe I want to hand it over. We're 1 minute over time, but let's take a minute from you just to conclude. And I would just say this is only an opening. Each one of those topics, like Juliana, we could sit with you for like hours, and Fuad and Abdallah and Majed, like each one of those topics is huge to unpack. We're trying to give like tastes and basic understanding, and hopefully there will be follow up later to drill down. But Tom, let's hand it over back to you just to give us some words of summary.
But basically, I think that it was a proof of concept. We're creating a common ground that many people from different groups in the Middle East, from the pastor to the rabbi to the sheikh to the Alawite envoy and to the Assyrian leader, they can all connect on a vision that it's not only negative. If we would say, okay, we're coming together to combat the Muslim Brotherhood, that could mean something, but it wouldn't work in the most profound way. We're creating a shared narrative that is positive, that can really bring an alternative and can even argue with the Muslim Brotherhood. and with other radical groups. I think that today on the ground, we are actually arguing with them. That's actually what I do most of the day, arguing with radicals from the Muslim Brotherhood. I think that we have a formula that is working, and we need to amplify it.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you, Sheikh Abdallah, Pastor Fuad, almost Dr. Juliana, and Majid is still here. Yeah. Thank you, Majid. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You can see in the comments that this has been fascinating. People are really glued to the screen. We will get to that more materials later and see what we can do. And we're trying to really expand the circles and get more people engaging exactly in this, in amplifying those voices, creating those bridges, and hopefully creating a more stable and non-chaotic Middle East. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week for the rest of the group.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.